So guys, welcome back. And today we have with us a very special guest. You may have seen him before on TV. You may have seen him on the comedy stage. We have with us Mr. Dick Balbani, a stand-up comedian, an IT expert, a ring announcer, a television host, and even an actor at times. So he is definitely a very diverse gentleman. And today we have him here to talk to us and speak to us about diversity and inclusion. How are you doing today over there, Vivek? How are things in Hong Kong?
I'm very good. It's a beautiful sunny day today. It's so sunny, I just pull my blinds down. That's how much sun we're getting today. So yeah, I'm in a good mood. It's, a lovely day, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about this stuff.
Wonderful. We could all use a little bit more of that energy coming from you and some of that sunshine as well, too. Vivek, diversity is really important these days. And when we think about diversity, it's not only affecting us in society, but it's also affecting us in the corporate workplace as well, too. Why is diversity and inclusion particularly important today?
Well, I mean, first of all, with the internet, we're all just interconnected. You can't just be in your own little cave and think, it's my little circle. No one will see what's going on. With the internet, we're exposed to the whole world. So the mindset, the global mindset is the new mindset of the new generation, I would say. And with that, obviously, when you say global, you've got people from all places around the world, different diversities, different types of people, personalities, races, everything. And you have to think open, You're in an open environment where anybody can connect with you through the internet, and now you can't run away from it. So I think diversity of all the ages is the most important time, because why limit yourself? When you have a whole field for you to run onto, why don't you look at the wall behind you, right? Go and enjoy yourself. So yeah, diversity is king now.
And for yourself, you have a very diverse background. You definitely have branched out into many areas in your career. How has diversity helped you in your career advancement?
Well, first of all, I do a lot of different stuff, mostly because I get bored easily. So I have to keep myself entertained. If I just do comedy all day, I'm like, jokes are boring now. Challenge me something else, right? So I do that. So what I've actually found with myself is that I like to do different things in different aspects. Like with comedy, it's a lot of creativity through, delivery of words. I used to be in a band, play drums, so that's more rhythm and musical. With my ring announcer, it's more the energy. You have to somehow control the room and let them know, now we're all going to cheer and shout and just, go crazy. Now let's wait for the results, guys. Calm down, So I think what's happened is that with my different types of work, I'm meeting different types of people. For example, when I do fight events, I might be in, let's say, Kuala Lumpur doing a show. So automatically, I have to learn how to adjust to the way people work there. So for example, in Hong Kong, we have this phrase called Fai Lang Deng, right? Just like fast, beautiful, and good, right? We just want to get the job done and go home. But other places, it's not that people are fast or slower. I realized the different mentality of working, right? It's like, look, we'll get the job done. Does it need to be done now? No, okay, I'll get it done before the deadline. Relax. So I had to adjust myself with that. So I think what you realize is that when you go to different places, the best way to not lose your own mind is to adapt to the way people work and learn how they work, and not go like, why do you do this? So I think with my different types of work, I meet different types of people. With comedy shows, you get all sorts of audiences. You have to learn what general topics would they enjoy. With, let's say, fight events, I have to know at what point do I get everyone riled up, at what point do I kind of respectfully wait for the results, And, if you're emceeing events, you have to be careful not to say things or do things that might offend someone, because you might think you're just having a good time, but someone might be sensitive to these things. And it's really important, because you could ruin the whole event with just one bad move or one bad comment. So yeah, diversity has helped me advance my career, because my diverse background, being Indian, born in Hong Kong, going to a local Chinese school, has allowed me to kind of self-discover and also discover other people. So in many ways, just meeting different people, getting to know them and listening to what they have to say lets me know a lot about the different types of people. And that way I can say, all right, how can I work with you? And that's what I think about when I think of how diversity helps my career.
Wonderful. And now, with your exposure to so many different workplaces and industries, etc., you probably have adapted yourself quite well. Now, giving us some tips over here, what can we do to embrace diversity and inclusion more in our workplace?
Well, I think honestly, one thing that I had to overcome myself as well is to realize that being different isn't really wrong. Just because I was the so-called minority in my group did not mean I was a mistake. Why are you different? It's not a right or wrong issue. It's not a black or white issue. It's more like we are different in our own ways. Maybe for me, it's my culture or my race. versus the next guy might be the interest, you know. So what I find is that when you shift your mindset, instead of thinking like, oh, he's different, so I got to deal with this, the truth is everyone's different in their own way. So that's step number one. I realize that really helps me. It helps people around me to realize that we're all different, all right? Number two, a lot of times when we think of diversity, we think of like, oh, we must respect each other's cultures, you know, all these kind of things that we have. But instead of thinking about the culture aspect of like, oh, it's so annoying, like, you know, halal food and everything, it's kind of a little like, think of it as an interest. So I tell people, instead of thinking of like me having a certain culture, think of these as my personal interests. We're all the same, it's just I have interest towards this. So for example, let's say if my friend is Muslim, he doesn't eat pork. I wouldn't say like, oh, it's so annoying you have this kind of religious belief and limitations, but I'm thinking you're not interested in eating pork. You really don't like eating pork. So you know what? What's the point of me forcing you to do something you're not interested in, right? So I always say number one is realize we're all different. Number two, also think of it as just different interests and you're trying to play towards someone's interests. And number three, honestly, is just the idea that be open and listen. What I find is most of the times we assume things, like people meet me like, oh, you're Indian, you must do this, 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 this. And it would really upset me if someone said, hey, Viv, you know, we thought it'd be really nice to do some activities with you. So we're all going to go do yoga together. And I'd be like, really? Really? I got to do yoga with you now? Really? Like, do you know how awkward that's going to be? Because I don't really do yoga. So you're on your own, man. So yeah, these kinds of things, listen more, ask more, and be curious and be open-minded. That's what I really encourage. Everyone's different. Think of it as a different interest rather than different culture. And just think of it, the idea that listen to what people have to say. Everyone is unique in their own way. Everyone's got a different background, different story. Just listen to it.
In your years of experience, was there ever a time where you yourself did not embrace diversity and inclusion as much? And if so, how did you get past that?
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people at some point in their life, you know, if you're not the majority of the population, you would have these kind of identity crisis. So when I was younger as a teenager, and obviously the most impactful thing that will change and shock your life is women, right? When I started liking girls, all of a sudden I was like, oh, girls, they're not dirty anymore, right? So, you know, I was like, how can I meet girls, this kind of thing. So all my friends and my classmates were Chinese, right? And I was the only Indian kid. And the problem was, you know, sometimes girls would come and meet us and they would say, hello, hello. And sometimes they'd be shy, like, oh, this guy's different, you know. So I remember this one time we had some girls come over to the school for a meeting. And then they were saying, hello, my name is hello. And they see, like, hello, right? And I was like, what did I do wrong, man? I mean, I just existed. What was the mistake there? So initially I was very upset. I was like, why couldn't I just be like everyone else? You know, they're Chinese, I'm Chinese, done, right? Simple, solves every problem. But over time, you know, thinking it through, talking to friends and family, and kind of realizing that, wait, what did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. It was kind of like she who decided not to approach me. I was there welcoming and she just ran away. So instead of me blaming myself and going like, what can I do to adjust that situation? I was like, well, your loss, right? So when I shifted that mindset, that really made me realize that it wasn't a matter of like right or wrong. It's a matter of like, okay, I guess, you know, I'm not your type then. We'll get on with our lives. And with that, I kind of embraced my identity and no longer was upset that, you know, I couldn't be like everyone else. If anything, people would probably have a stronger impression of me because I would just stand out. So I kind of embraced that, switched it around and took it as an advantage. So I always say, find your own little niche. You know, in every business, you got to think of the niche market and the difference you have. In the same way, I was born with a niche, which is I'm not like the rest of the people. And automatically, I'm going to leave an impression on you. And chances are, when you're going to think of to find someone, you're going to think of me first.
Well, we definitely do. And I will too from now on, for sure. You know, nowadays, we're all going through in the world some very difficult and challenging times with the coronavirus. And social distancing has now become the new norm. Like, how can we go and practice diversity and inclusion when the social norm is social distancing now?
Honestly, if you ask me, it's time to embrace technology and take advantage of a change in mindset. You know, like what we're doing right now. We could have sat and complained, oh, the virus is dangerous, we'll postpone this for another date. But we decided, wait a second, I could sit and discuss about postponing, or we could see what other resources do we have. So just like any other business, you know, you could look at a situation and go like, well, we're in trouble now. You know, we're going to have to go bankrupt, or think, wait, so this is what's going on now? Okay, what do we have as other alternatives? And we're doing this exactly right now. So with social distancing, it's kind of also in its own way giving you another reason to think of creative ideas and ways to connect with people through technology. And I don't believe that, the social distancing is going to draw people apart. If anything, it's going to let us take time to reflect and go, wow, that idea of just sitting at home all day, it's fun for one day. But by the second day, I need to talk to someone. I need to do something more than just stare at the wall, right? And so we're doing stuff like this. We're thinking of like, hey, I tell you what, I'm going to connect with you at 2 o'clock. We'll meet, we'll discuss, we'll talk, we'll have a good time. And if anything, it's better for the air as well. Both of us did not take any transportation today. So we just saved money, saved the environment, and we're doing something good. So I would say right now, it's not so much a matter of like social distancing. It's more like finding ways to connect with each other with what we have in hand. And diversity is another thing that you can think about. How different how many different ways can you think of to have a drink with a friend, right? The other day I was talking to a bunch of friends. I said, you know what we should do? We should play bingo online, right? Get into a Zoom chat. I'm the bingo master. I'm throwing out numbers. You're going like, hey, bingo, right? And the winner gets an email from me, something like that. Who knows, right? So stuff like that. So I don't think there's a time that we have to say, okay, you stay there, I stay here. It's a matter of like, it's just a click of a button. It literally is a click of a button to connect with people. So yeah, I would say it's really how you look at the game.
Thank you so much for that inspiration and that insight, and of course, that sense of hope. I'm sure we all appreciate it. And for those of you guys who all want to connect with Vivek, you can do so online at www.funnyvivek.com. Vivek, thank you again for your time. And
a pleasure.
We will all see you all soon, hopefully on stage. For now, take care, stay safe, and make sure we all stay healthy. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next episode.
Take it easy.